Boom! Boom! Welcome to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. I'm Thundercloud. Mum calls me James. Washing away the garbage, leaving rainbows after rains. Let's have some fun and linguistic games. This is Wednesday Words on the 28th of February 2024. Yes, it is the second last day of February because this year is a leap year! Leaping for joy. Yeah. Well, what's going on in this here world of the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame? Well, we will have a pretty quiet night tonight. It's just Thundercloud and Skye. Wow, what a team. Gabriel's over there in... Where's he gone? Oh, that's right, Kowloon, or Hong Kong. Yeah. So, wow. Best wishes to him. Hope everything's going well. He said it's very changed to what he was used to. None of the shops that he was looking for exist anymore. So, anyway, one of the things that happens is that people here, because I've got the Australian Poetry Library and Archive, they donate books and poetry books. And sometimes little bits of poetry fall out of books and stuff that people give me. And like this piece here. And this was a piece of newspaper, author unknown. And I'm going to start with poor but blessed in the good old days, and that's the title of the poem. Poor but blessed in the good old days. We met and we married a long time ago. We worked for long hours when wages were low. No TV, no wireless, no bath. Times were hard. Just a cold water tap and a walk in the yard. No holiday abroad, no carpets on floors. We had coal on the fire and we didn't lock doors. Our children arrived, no pill in those days. And we brought them up without any state aid. They were safe going out to play in the park and any old folks could go for a walk in the dark. No Valium, no drugs and no LSD. We cured most of our ills with a good cup of tea. No vandals, no muggings, there was nothing to rob. We felt we were rich with a couple of bob. People were happy in those far-off days, kinder and caring in so many ways. Milkman and paperboy would whistle and sing at night at the pictures was our one mad fling. We all got our share of troubles and strife. We just had to face it. That's the pattern of life. Now I'm alone and look back through the years. I don't think of the bad times, troubles and tears. I remember the blessings, our home and our love, and that we shared them together. And I thank God above. Author unknown. So Anonymous has been at it again. Yeah. Well, this week, Skye, myself, and Steve Wordsmith, we're heading off to Hillgrove, or the Hillgrove Hotel, to do a performance over there. And I'm going to be doing some of the ones that I'll be doing over there because I need to practice them. Last night I did the Jabberwocky, and I'm going to do it again on Chillin' Tuesday. The Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves and the mome raths outgabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the maxome foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree and stood a while in thought, and as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy, oh fabulous day, Calais, he chortled with his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave, all mimsy with the borogoves, and the gnome wraths outgrave. Yeah. All right, the Jabberwocky. So Lewis Carroll, he was alive from 1832 to 1891. He was also famous for writing Alice in Wonderland. Yes. Fur and feathers. There's even a rumour that goes around that he indulged in the Amanita muscaria mushroom, the red and white Santa Claus mushroom. And probably why the caterpillar said to Alice, have a bite of this mushroom. Next one we got Fur and Feathers by Banjo Patersons. It's about a footy game. We're coming up to footy season, so we might as well celebrate, eh? The Emus formed a football team up Walgett Way. Their dark brown sweaters were a dream, but kangaroos would sit and scream to watch them play. Now, Butterfingers, they would call, and such like names. Well, the Emus couldn't hold the ball. They had no hands, but hands aren't all in football games. A match against the kangaroos they played one day. The kangaroos were forced to choose some wallabies and wallaroos that dressed in grey. The rules that in the West prevailed would shock the town, for when a kangaroo set sail, an emu jumped upon his tail and fetched him down. A whistler duck, the referee, was not admired. He whistled so incessantly, the teams rebelled and up a tree. He soon retired. The old marsupial captain said, it's do or die, so down the ground like fire he fled, and leapt above an emu's head and scored a try. Then, shouting, keep it on the toes, the emus came. Sure, as fierce as the flooded bogan flows, they laid their foemen out in rows and saved the game. On Darling Pear and Native Pea they dined that night. But one man was an absentee, that whistler duck, the referee, he'd taken flight. That was Banjo Patersons' Fur and Feathers.
How you going, James?
Thanks, Steve. Welcome.
Thank you.
We might as well have a bit of a run through what we're going to do. We'll get
that's right.
Skye up. She'll do a couple, then you, then me, then Skye.
We're going to go down there as a team from the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. So, hey.
So the next one I've got here is Daly's Dog Waddle by William Thomas Goodge. Now he was born in 28th of September in 1862, passed on in 1909. And it's a bit of a tall story. You can talk about your sheepdogs, said the man from Allen's Creek, but I know a dog that simply knocked 'em bandy. Do whatever you would show him and he hardly need to speak, owned by Daly, a drover cove in Jack and Andy. He was talking in the parlour, me and Daly quite like, when a blowfly starts a-buzzing round the ceiling. Up gets Daly and he says to me, you wait a minute, Mike, and I'll show you what a dog is at Ealing. And an empty pickle bottle was standing on a shelf. Daly takes it down and puts it on the table. And he bets me drinks that blinded dog would do it by himself, and I didn't think as how he was able. Well, he shows the dog the bottle, and he points up to the fly, and he shuts the door and says to him, now, Waddle, And in less than 15 seconds, flat spammy days it ain't a lie, that their dog had got that insect in the bottle. Yeah. So,
Good one.
yeah, not bad, eh? That was
Some tales told, eh, James?
It is. Now, a bush poet that's now since passed on, was Cole Wilson, also known as Blue the Shearer. And this one is called by him, and it's called The Addict. This bloke in the doctor's surgery says, "Oh, doctor, I'm in pain. I broke me who's it's what's it. Can you straighten it again?" "Let's take a look," the doctor says. "Oh my God, that does look sore. I've never seen a fellow with a broken one before. Can you tell me how you did it while I fix this plaster cast?" "Okay, doc, I'll tell you, just straighten out me mask. It's all because that wife of mine, she's one-arm bandit mad. She plays the pokies day and night. She's got it really bad. In the early hour, I woke and thought, hello. She got me by the gear shift and she's moving to and fro. But she's dreaming, playing pokies, gripping hard enough to choke it. For half an hour she kept it up and in the end she broke it." "Half an hour?" the doctor says. "It must have hurt like hell. She might have thought to let you go if you'd have thought to yell." "I couldn't," says the bloke. "The pain was murder in me loins. And anyway, me mouth was filled with 50 10-cent coins." Yeah. Poor old thing, hey? Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to invite Skye on up to come and do her poems. And don't forget, we've got in exactly 1 month, Gwyn Ashton coming here to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. It's a Wednesday night. He's one of the world's best blues players. Blues players, not a blues poet, but blues players, yeah. So it'll be really great. Get your tickets. I'll leave the description in the link below. So get your tickets and welcome Skye Campen. Oh yes. This one.
Very good. All right. Let me think if I can remember. Okay. Red. I'm going to do Mollie McNutt's okay, so the colour rhymes. Red. Red apples up the orchard, red berries down the lane, red roses tapping gently upon my window pane, red poppies in the cornfields, red down on Robin's breast. Oh gosh, I stopped that up.
You can start again if you want.
Okay, do you want me to start again?
Oh, you can.
Okay, I'll start again. Red apples up the orchard, red berries down the lane, red roses tapping gently upon my window pane, red poppies in the cornfields, red down on Robin's breast, red red clouds, when in the nightfall the sun sings in the west, red fire to keep us cozy, when summer's heat we miss, but best of all, red rosy lips when baby wants a kiss.
Yay.
on the grassy hillsides, beneath the gum trees tall, forget-me-nots and cornflowers beside the garden wall. Blue seas in the summer sunshine, shining, bright blue skies, and as blue as skies or water, our laughing baby's eyes.
Two?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Next one I've got before Steve Wordsmith comes on up is High Explosive by Banjo Paterson once again. 'Twas the dingo pup to his dam that said, "It's time I work for my daily bread. Out into the world I intend to go, and you'd be surprised at the things I'd know. There's a wild duck's nest in a sheltered spot, and I'll go right down and I'll eat the lot." But when he got to his destined prey, he found that the ducks had all flown away. But an egg was left that would quench his thirst. So he bit the egg and it straightway burst. It burst with a bang and he turned and fled, for he thought that the egg had shot him dead. "Oh, mother," he said, "let us clear right out or we'll lose our lives with the bombs about, and it's lucky that I'm not blowing up. It's a very hard life," said the dingo pup. Steve, come on up. Come on up.
How you going, James?
Well,
It's really
thanks.
good to be here. I haven't been here for a while.
Nice dryzer bone you got there.
Yeah, it's not too bad, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good Australian jacket.
It's keeping you dry.
Yeah, kept me dry in a bit of a wet time, you know. Yeah. Yeah, and how's everybody going? It's really good to be here in Holmesley.
Hillgrove.
Oh, in Hillgrove, sorry. It's really nice to be here in Hillgrove, and I just, I'm really glad to be here and being here with the team from the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. We're from Gwydir. Gwydir is a great little place. It's a place that there's a lot of things happening, and the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame has been opened there by James. It's a home for poetry, and we like to take poetry to the people out there. If you can't get close to us, we'll come to you if need be. And we're always open for bookings, and just give James a ring and he'll see when there's a date that we can come and say something to you. It's always good to do poetry. I've been around, I've been around for many years doing different types of poetry, and one of the things I was asked to do at one stage was to do a reenactment of one of our famous poets' death, Breaker Moran. A lot of people don't recognise him as a poet, but he was a poet around. And I was to play the place as Thomas, J.F. Thomas. He was the colonel that defended J.F. Thomas in the battle at that time. So I went up into the Mount Mackenzie near Tenterfield at that time. I was presently at the cobbler of Tenterfield at that time. And I walked up into the mountains there, and there was an old homestead there, and the house now was beaten and broken. There was bullet holes in the flag. The words that he said and were spoken, lost by the tears of the sad. He came home to a town that he left from, hurt, disgusted and mad, torn apart by a wrong-made decision that crucified one of his lads. The Aussie troops they had mustered from a nation newly born, from all the outback stations where 1 million sheep were shorn, came the men who rode the fences. They were young and hard as nails, with a pioneer spirit and a will that seldom fails. They were brought up on the stock horse, on that sturdy working steed. They never really failed you when it came the time to speed. They were told of this great adventure in the far-off foreign shores. So they rolled up their swags and they ventured to fight in that foreign war. One of these fellas was the Breaker. He'd spent his time on the track. He'd wandered with his Bluey. Yes, he'd wandered the great outback. Well, charged but later convicted, Thomas was given the task of defending our spirited breaker from things that he'd never been part. Some of the words that he had spoken were discarded, so they shot him, the series of many a song. Breaker Morant was a hero, so was Thomas. The ones I believe that convicted him have found their place in hell. He came home to a town that he'd left from. He started the Tenterfield Star. This town of many memories will always carry the scar. The words that he'd said were lost there. Breaker had gone to the grave. He came, and there's bullet holes in the flag. One of them passionate poems that you sort of get tied up in, sorry a little bit about that. And, to do poetry is something that is a gift to be able to give to people. Over the years, we've done many poems, we've been in many places and learned many tricks. And tricks with talking with words. Being a wordsmith, you're talking from the heart, and you're talking from what comes to you. When you stand in front of lots of people and you talk, it gets to be commonplace. It just gets to be commonplace. It's not something that we put on naturally. It is a natural thing that we do. All people alive have some talent. From where it comes, it's not known. Some sing and dance or act out romance. It's a part of your life, like a poem. When telling a joke is your forte, or telling the humour of life, or painting a beautiful landscape, or serenading the friends in your life. Yes, talent's a part of our makeup. It comes natural in the things that we do, not always in the things expected, and not always in the things that we choose. I've had a scattered sort of a background. I, tell stories of the past and things that I've done. But, they're memories to me. Some of them are movies to people, but they're memories to me. And the memories that I tell, sometimes they come from reality, they come from experience, they come from things that's happened in this beautiful land that we call home. Australia is a wonderful place. When you travel around and you see the wonder of this beautiful natural country that we have, we see fabulous things, we meet lovely people, we meet them characters around the place. There once was a shearer by the name of Bluey the Brink. He was a devil for work and a devil for drink. He could shear his 200 a day without fear and drink without winking 4 gallons of beer. Now Jimmy the barman who served out the drink, he just hated the sight of here Bluey the Brink. He stayed much too late and he came much too soon, in the morning and the night and the daytime and at noon. Well, one day when Jimmy was cleaning the bar with sulphuric acid that he kept in a jar, old Bluey come yelling and bawling with thirst. Whatever you've got, just give me the first. Well, it ain't in the histories and it ain't put in print, but he drank acid with never a stint. Well, strike me. Whatever you got, I'll drink it, said he. Well, first of all, he grabbed this acid and he drank it. And man, far out, it just came to the point. And he left. And all that night, Jimmy couldn't work. He couldn't concentrate on his battle and his fight. Well, early next morning as he opened the door, along came the shearer. He was yelling for more, with his eyebrows all singed and his whiskers deranged and holes in his hide like a dog with the mange. Said Jimmy, and how'd you like that new stuff? Said Bluey, it's fine, but ain't it enough? It gave me great courage to shear and to fight. But every cough set my whiskers alight. I thought a new drink, but I must have been wrong, for what you gave me was proper and strong. It set me to coughing. And you know I'm no liar, but every cough sets the whiskey on fire. Stories that we tell, people that we meet around the place, and things that we go, you know. Many years ago, I was a Tenterfield cobbler, and I was telling stories, and this fella came in who I didn't really know at the time, but he was the Tenterfield saddler, or the bloke that owned the Tenterfield saddler. And he was a marketeer. That was one of the things why I started the cobbler shop, was to have someone working and doing the leather work on site at the time of the year of Federation. Anyway, I was telling stories, and he'd come down and he said, we should start some little thing, you know, and I said, well, an oracle of the bush. And we started a committee. And committees are interesting things because they take minutes and waste hours. But the Oracles of the Bush Committee, good on you for carrying it on. 25 years down the track, people are still doing the Oracles of the Bush and going to poetry, and we think that's great. I wrote a poem for it, which at that time they didn't really like, but that was okay. It was an oracle of the bush, I thought, you know, an icon, something that everybody uses. See, I was brought up in the country in a place called Wedderburn on the side of the George River with the stags and the elks and the ferns. There wasn't any luxuries. It was, you know, but we had this long drop dunny called the Orafice of the bush. There's one thing that I know for sure, and I spent a lot of time just doodling in the dirt there, and I even wrote some rhyme, a place to fantasize and figure out. But everything was true, a hideout from the washing up, like young lads often do. I'd always lift the lid up to avoid a bit of fright, to eradicate the chances of the dreaded redback bite. Like mum's old chook, I'd settle in with me pants around me knees to the sound of the neighbours rampant ball and fruit bats in the trees. Like a medieval king, I'd sit upon his gilded throne, my favourite place, I must admit, in our lovely country home. Yes, I'm a connoisseur of dunnies, but this it is a fact, a place to try, a place to check, before I hang my hat. I remember when I left the bush in a council house in town, there was an outhouse out the back there, a place to settle down. It wasn't quiet as our country home, but it had all the mods and cons. Running water, electric light, and an oven to cook scones. I'd only been there a week, I think, when I awoke with an awful fright. There was a shadow past the window in the middle of the night. I'd heard about these prowlers and their low-down thieving trick, but they'd taken on the wrong bloke this time, this lad from out the sticks. Well, I hit the floor running, there wasn't time to put on clothes. I'll get that flaming larrikin and I'll probably break his nose. Through the front door quietly, the blood was pumping fast. I'd stop him by the gate, I thought, as the bare feet hit the grass. He was running up the footpath with his booty on his back. I'd played rugby in my school days and I'd stop him in his track. Well, I hit him round the ankles and he had nowhere to go. Yeah, I dropped him like a dunny lid. And all he said was, "No! That smell was something awful." I'd never live it down. I'd nailed the poor old dunny man and I dropped him on the ground. There was excretion all across the grass and right across the road. The lid had left the dunny can and he dropped the flaming load. Well, throughout my years of wandering, I think I've tried the lot. There's the environmental sound ones, there's flush lavatories and pots, there's collectors of pubs, of pins, of bottled stamps and plants, but I'm the international, no, universal secretary of the place you drop your pants. I've tested loos across this land and I've tried the loos abroad. There's the ones you pull the chain on, there's authentic ones, and there's frauds, but there's nothing in comparison when you have to strain and push. As a good old Aussie dunny and the orifice of the bush. Have a lovely night. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.
Oh, sorry about that.
All right. You got a couple more for us soon? Yeah. All right.
I can do more.
Yeah. Now, what am I going to do for you? Oh, well, look, we've got the flea and the dinosaur. This was one I wrote back back in 2017 and I turned it into a kid's book, which is since out of print. Probably could go back into print.
Definitely.
The Flea and the Dinosaur. Many millions of years ago, way before you and me, Tyrannosaurus Rex was born. He was bigger than a tree. About the same time, Flea was born, a little rainbow fairy flea, but small and super powerful, filled with joy and glee. Tyrannosaurus, grey and brown, strong and forcefully, went around tearing things down like a big bully. Today, I saw a dinosaur laughing at a flea. It looked down and said, "Ha ha ha ha, you're not as strong as me." The flea said to the dinosaur, "Do you want to pick a fight? 1,000 times my height I jump. You can't jump with all your might." The flea said to the dinosaur, "I have a super skin and I can bite you anywhere. My teeth will sink right in." The flea said to the dinosaur, "I can be a little snitch and I will bite you on the bum and I will make you itch." The flea said to the dinosaur, "You can move about, but I'm 100 times as fast as you." That's without a doubt. The flea jumped on the dinosaur and bit him on the knee. "I'm so much more than you think, don't you mess with me." The flea jumped on the dinosaur and bit him on the eye. The dinosaur shed a tear and then began to cry. Today, I saw a dinosaur say, "Sorry," to a flea. "Without a doubt, you are so much more powerful than me." The flea said to the dinosaur, "Don't laugh at others too, because little guys are much more powerful than forceful ones like you." A flea said to the dinosaur, "You can't run away, nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide, have a lovely day." The flea bit Tyrannosaur and dinosaurs all died. Great big bullies fade away, get fried by little guys. Today, I saw a dinosaur get beaten by a flea. Big mean bullies disappear, but loving joyful fleas dance free. I finished writing of this story at 1:33. When dinosaurs became extinct, but fleas, they still live free. Yeah, so it's a pretty cool kid's story, really. Now, with that, I'm going to move on to a couple that I've written this week. Actually, I'm not going to get Skye up yet because she's not quite ready. I'm going to do one that I've written this week. And this was called Artistic Flow. This was written 6 days ago. The smoothest way to travel is to go with the flow. When approaching a waterfall, it's safest not to, though. Drifting gently is pointless in rough mountain streams. Directed conscious action is how we achieve dreams. Lemmings in hordes walk off cliffs to their death when underwater. Relaxation conserves breath. Below breaking, churning beach waves, there's peace. Dive out of the chaos. In the undertow, release. Artists push boundaries, pens, stone, clay and light. Inspired action from the heart, balance left and right. Avoiding the boulders, building stone temple homes. Scholarly masterpieces written in tomes. Now, here in the flow, it's time to stop and let go. Put on the next intuitive, muse-inspired art show. Heart open and grateful, no point being hateful, when only through love is life fully createful. That was,
Agreed.
Yeah, thanks. Now, Skye. Skye's got some from, is it the second? No?
Yeah. I've got one from the second Australian poetry book.
Okay. A second Australian poetry book.
And another one from
Mollie McNutt, yeah.
Okay.
Is she like McNutt sounds like a macadamia nut. McNutt.
Can you, before you read the poem, introduce McNutt, who she was and where she came from?
Yes.
And how she was, a lot of the people might not know her, some people would,
True.
but, you know, just be really good, you know.
Yeah, she was a teacher in Hillgrove and around the area.
Mm.
Many may know her and maybe not, you know.
Yeah. She started teaching at the age of 16 and she ended up marrying Mr. Andrew McNutt, who was a principal at one of the schools.
Yeah, right.
And she died from tuberculosis. Mm.
See, if you introduce it, then people know, and you know, it's more celebration of the place, you know.
Okay, well, I'll do Mollie McNutt's one first.
Part of the preamble.
Mm.
Yeah, setting yourself up your poem.
Mm.
Yeah, it's called Buttercup by Mollie McNutt. Like fetid sunbeams glowing on slender shards of green, with shy spring breezes blowing.
You can read it.
Yeah, read it, jeez.
Mm. Have it open and then,
Hands on.
I remember it, it's just my nerves.
You got this.
Yeah.
You do it, you know, you just got it.
I'm doing it. Okay. Buttercups. Like fetid sunbeams glowing on slender shards of green, with shy spring breezes blowing their shiny heads between. The buttercups are dancing adown the bushland ways, with golden glory glancing. They've set the world ablaze, abrim with golden sunshine, a shine with crystal dew. Each blossom's flowery gold lined is a treasure trove for you. O brown bees, honey making, where burnished petals part, there's stores of sweets for taking in every golden heart. In each curved petal holden, the sunshine gold is fast. And the memories olden, they bring from out the past. Gold dower from this and far lands, the little children's flowers, we gathered them for garlands in childhood's golden hours. And still through sunny play hours, I hear the children shout, who'll come gathering wildflowers? Buttercups are out. And who likes butter calling while weaving jeweled chains, with gum trees, shadows falling on grassy bushland lanes? And buttercups of bushland, how you my heart enthrall, your beauty gems the grassland, where'er my footsteps fall. And to you, gaily growing, I bring this meed of praise. Fair buttercups blowing through glad October days.
Mm.
Good.
And one from, a second Australian poetry book, which is a collaboration. And this one's called Miss Strawberry Nasty by Eric Rolls. Please take off my shoes, Miss Strawberry, I said. Miss Strawberry took me by the ears and removed my head. Please take off my jumper, Miss Strawberry, I said. Miss Strawberry took my left arm and removed it instead. Please take off my trousers, Miss Strawberry, I said. Miss Strawberry took my legs off, and I had to go to bed. Miss Strawberry, I asked her, will you put them on? Alas, there was no answer. Miss Strawberry had gone.
Now, someone turned 87. My auntie. My auntie. Happy birthday to my auntie Nola Booth. She's the oldest member of the Warren family. Yeah, absolutely. Big ups to her. She, in fact, she's even lived 1 year older than my grandmother, her mother Lillian. So, yeah. And my dad, he turns 80 this year in May, yeah, 6. May the 6th. He's got the coolest birthday, 6544. Not as cool as mine, though. Anyway, Nola Booth. This was written for Nola. It was a couple of days ago, her birthday. There aren't many rhymes for Nola, so I'll sit and ponder, but not with a cola. There once was a guy who was Ayatollah. His name was Nicola, his wife was Lola. They were from Angola. He played viola. She drove a Corolla. For breakfast each morning, they ate granola. Their daughter Zola was slightly bipolar, grew rapeseed, canola, her phone, Motorola. Now, Nicola and Lola couldn't control Zola, who stole a gondola from some Hispaniola. So Ayatollah Nicola sent Lola with Zola to Pensacola in the Corolla to sell their canola and visit the gut health centre of Pensacola, who said, don't drink cola, don't spray canola. And with that, cured Zola of her bipolar. So I found enough rhymes for Nola. Yeah. It was not easy because that's about it. There's not many more rhymes than that for Nola. And now, a good friend of ours here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame is Jan Day. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Jan Day, who's been a little bit under the weather lately and in hospital there. She's had a bit of a heart stop and a kidney stop and that, and I believe she's back home yesterday. So, our thoughts are out there with her. As well as that, Gladys, who's lost a few people this year. Gladys Wilson, she's lost a couple of members of her family as well. So our thoughts are out there with everybody. This one here was written after a local man by the name of Ray Martin, not as in Ray Martin from the Ray Martin Midday Show, but a different Ray Martin. And Ray used to like going to country music events with his friend Thelma. And after Ray passed away, I went for a walk one day and it was a cloudy day, but the sun was going down out there and this sunbeam shone through the clouds, and where the hole in the clouds was, it was like this big love heart. And I took this photo, and at the time then I immediately wrote this particular poem. There's a kind of a death poem, but in a good way. It's called The Unexpected Visitor. I received an unexpected visitor today, the spirit of a man who recently passed away. He loved country music and his name was Ray, and these were the words that he had to say. Death isn't where the living ends. My soul is just fine. Please tell my friends. Rivers flow to the sea around many bends and come from the rains that the cloud sends. From between the clouds broke a ray of sunshine saying, life, change and death transforms the divine. Do what you love and don't always toe the line. When the rains pass, the weather becomes fine. The next thing I heard was a message from me. Love comes from within, costs nothing, is free. Past and future are memories in the moment. Just be and flow like that river going down to the sea. Water runs in the gutters and flows down the street. The trees in the pastures think rain is a treat. Growing peaches and cherries, juicy and sweet. Rain provides water and grows things to eat. Ducks in the lagoon open wings and fly like souls of the passaway after they die, saying, celebrate life, smile, laugh, and don't cry. After the rain falls, there are times that it's dry. Never give up and keep on down the track. Life is a roller coaster and I'll be coming back. The wheels on the rails, clickety-clack, click-clack. The sun still shines above clouds that are black. This was the message from a passed away friend. As the earth spins, the day and night never ends. Sun rays travel straight lines and do not bend. Cry like the rain falling, and from loss we all mend. The clouds closed and the sun ray went away. This was the last message that he had to say. Live with love in each moment, each and every day. Dance, sing and laugh in this theatre of life that's a play. And yeah, a great reminder that in this world, change is the one thing that's constant all the time. Yep, you can't complain about change, can you?
That's it.
No,
That's it.
it's gonna happen. Yeah, every moment.
Thank
you. Absolutely. Yeah, wouldn't it be boring if it was like
it would be
Groundhog Day? Yeah. Every day I got up and I was the same weight, the same look, no wrinkles, you know, I'd still be like a little baby.
your choice. Your choice, man.
All right, well, anyone else got something else?
Oh, sure, anytime. I like coming here. Yeah,
all
no
right.
worries. Hey,
You want to jump on up?
Yeah.
And don't forget, Gwen Ashton's coming here.
Oh, Gwen Ashton. I
Tickets are on the website.
with Mojo Webb down in Chillingham, and Mojo's blues player, very good too. He's really good, lovely. Yeah. Hey, it's always good to be here and good to see all you people here. You know, we really enjoy people that we you know, I always say hello to the friends that I've known in the past, which are many. The friends that I know now, which are plenty, and the ones that I've yet to meet. Because I think that's what it's all about, is meeting people, saying hello to people, enjoying their energy, its frequencies, and the frequency of love, unconditional love. That's what we've come into, that understanding that that's the new way. And love is our protection. Love is our protection in all things, because, you know, if people in this world loved and were compassionate and kind to each other, we'd have a different world. And we have a ripple effect. And when we speak to people and we send out energies and frequencies to different groups and different people, and we send it with love for no reason, unconditional love, the world can be a different place. We talk about things, you know, we've gone into the third to the fifth dimension. We talk about the sixth sun, the time of the sixth sun, which is what we're supposed to be going through at the moment. And it's a time of changing of the frequency of mankind. It's the understanding that we've gone off track. we've gone against the instinct of man. Mankind was, it's like ducks flying up the coast. They always go there every year. And then Fred Duck jumps off. And he jumps into this little island and there's all these beautiful fruit and there's pineapples and great stuff there, you know. And instinct keeps calling him back. But he's in this really good place. And we're all stuck on that little island, you know, we've gone off track. Instinct says we're supposed to be a love, compassionate, kind people. We're community-based. We have the ability to be good and kind. There's enough for everybody's need. There's abundance for everybody. There's not enough for people's greed, but there's enough for people's need. And if we really, as community, because sometimes we have to understand that we want change, and the only way we get change is by not ticking the box. Because if we keep ticking the box all the time, it stays the same. And, you know, the right to be able to speak is one of the things I enjoy about open mic. We have the ability to pronounce in poetry what we do. And, you know, it's a human right to be able to speak and to be able to have our viewpoint in this world. And that is the one thing I enjoy. And I've come over many years of different stories that we've read through and different stories that we've told and different places we've been to and enjoyed, because that's what poetry is. Poetry is talking from the heart, writing thoughts down, being able to be honest in that way. I might be evading being honest in that way by, you know, talking about different things and not being vulnerable to the world. But sometimes poetry is vulnerable, and sometimes the poets that we get are vulnerable in what they speak. As a travelling poet, we always have plenty to say. You know, there's always any special stories that we've read. You know, there's the classics of the people. We come from the Gwydir River area, or just below it, sort of thing. You know, and by the sluggish River Gwydir lived this wicked redback spider, who was just about as vicious as could be. Now, the place he made his Campen was this Rusty Jones's jam tin, in a paddock near the showground at Mollie. Well, near him lay the Shearer snoozing. He'd been drinking beer and boozing all the night before and all the previous day, and the cooking of the cookers and the noise of the showtown spookers failed to raise him from the trance in which he lay. Well, there came this crafty-looking spieler with a dainty-looking Shearer. They were collecting wood to make a fire, and he said, "There's a boozer, and he's going to be a loser. If he isn't, you can christen me a liar. Well, you just stand and take it, honey, while I fan this mug for money, and we'll have some dainty luxuries for tea." But she said, "Don't be silly. You go back and boil the billy. You can safely leave this bloke to little me." Well, she circled ever nearer to that dopey-looking Shearer, his pockets bulging fast asleep and snug. But she never saw the spider that was circling around beside her. She was too busy with the money and the mug. Well, the spider needed dinner. He'd been daily growing thinner. He'd fasted long and 4 feet he'd yearn. When she let me just find it. James will know it. When that Shearer's pocket, well, the spider in behind her.
Yeah, it's like a rocket.
Like a rocket?
No.
Yeah? No, she took off like a rocket, yeah, she could have anyway when it bit her on the pocket. By the time she got back to the camp, she was naked like she was born. Well, the Shearer, pale and haggard, back to town he staggered, where he caught a train and he gave the birds a rest. But he'll never know the spider that was there at the Gwydir had saved him 90 smackers of the best. Little tales then. They're things you hear over the years and you try to put them together and sometimes you miss your words, but that's okay. That's okay, because we do it, you know. It's part of being poetry, it's part of being able to express yourself in what we do, and you know, it's part of that creativity that we have in what we do. Some of us paint, and some of us are doing art history, and some of us write words, and some of us express ourselves in different ways, and that's all fine. We're like, it's part of the arts of this country. You know, there's beautiful things. I, many years ago, was the representative for Australia at the Communities of Australia Pavilion in World Expo. I was represented there for 36 days, and there was many millions of people that go through them sorts of places. And you can listen to that side there, Jane. And I was sort of dumped there. I won a beer to get there, and people say that's a bit strange to get in there, you know, for a beer. Well, there was one of my mates, and his mate, a fellow up in Lismore named Taffy. He's a shoemaker. And he said to me, "Smithy, I bet you can't get a job." I was sat in Lismore not doing anything. And he said, "Smithy, I bet you can't get a job in a week and it's worth a beer to you." And the year before, my son, who was living with me, had said, "Can we go to Expo?" And I thought, "What's Expo? I don't know what Expo is." He says, "Oh, yeah." And I said, "Oh, you know, I've just come out of a business. I'm broke. I'm in the unit in Lismore. I go around partying. I'm on the dole. I'm just dropped out. And you want me to go to Expo? What do you know, come settle down." Anyway, so I dropped my resume down at the Commonwealth Employment, and the fellow down there said, "Oh, okay." And I said, "I need a job, and I need it in a week, and I need to, because it's worth a beer to me." And I'm not a real beer drinker or anything like that, but you know, it's just the actual, I like to take the challenge. And the challenge is what we do, you know, life is meeting the moment, you know, we can, you know, I'm only a young man yet, and I'm getting younger all the time. See, I'm the poet from down under. They're getting older, I'm getting younger. You know, that's the way it is, you know, we say that, but when we're known for being the Australian poets, we're down under, okay? They're going the other way, we're going this way, we're getting younger. And that's a choice that we make in time, because one of the things I say to young men all over the place with grey hair, I say to them, "Now listen, your cells are regenerating all the time. So every 7 years they're totally regenerated. So you're not old at all, you're absolutely brand new. All you have to do is change your attitude and start understanding that our cells are growing. We can be better than who we are, that we are a better people today than we were yesterday, that we can grow in our understanding and who we are, because part of the growth of life is learning who we are and being comfortable with that, and realising that we're enough, and enough is enough. You know, we are good at that. We are human beings. Sometimes we have to stop being human doing it, because we have to be and not do all the time. And when you go through years of doing, you know, and the things that we do, which is really cool, we meet people, we write stories as poets, and we express ourselves to the world around and the things that we do. And when you get dropped into a place like I was, the representative for Australian communities, I ended up there, and you've got millions of people around you. I wasn't a poet at that time. I'd manifested being at the front of the house. My brothers were always the front of the house. I was the drummer at the back. I decided at one point in my life that I was going to change. I wanted to be at the front of the house. Being on the microphone was probably a manifestation at that time. I ended up, there was millions of people around. So you have to get comfortable with talking to people, introducing people, saying hello to people. You've got thousands of people around you. You've got thousands of acts coming on, and you're introducing them in many ways. So I had to tell stories of the places I've been. Near the rambling Richmond River, where the ghosts of cedar barges rise from derelict and skeletons telling tales of years gone by, of the early cedar cutters who braved the coastal ranges to reap the valued harvest that the massive forest side, But the years have passed so quickly, and the banks are now near Barham, through the mighty Richmond Valley, from Nashua down to Corrikai. And the river's seldom used now for transport or for pleasure. And the river's seldom used now for transport and for pleasure. And the water's brown and mud-stained as the land gives up the fight. From years of torrential downpours that's caused the land erosion, and floods that stole the topsoil that the big scrub held in place. Where once there was an abundance of the fighting Richmond black bass, now from the murky, muddy waters comes the catfish and the eel. Yes, the Richmond's only one place in this wondrous world around us that man has taken over, and he stirred the flaming pot. But he'll reap his just deserts, though, when he plays with Mother Nature, and she says the game's now over, and starves the bloody lot. And we write stories of things that we have a passion about, and the hurt and damage that we see to this planet, and the mother and the nature that we see. And we write these stories, and they're part of our way of expressing what we feel. Because we're all part of Gaia. Gaia is everything to us. Everything that we get comes from the planet, comes from the mother. Everything there is. So we really need to show some more respect, you know, and to me, there's not too much common sense being shown in this world by some of the leaders of our world at the moment. I have to say that as just a normal word person and just a poet, I have to say to the leaders, fucking stop. Just stop. We've got a planet that's fallen apart. She's in jeopardy. There's all sorts of stuff happening. We've been being fined for cows farting, and you're throwing weapons at each other of mass destruction. Stop. Realise who you are. You're supposed to be leading this world. Show the world some respect. Show the planet some respect. Regards, Steve Wordsmith.
Here we go. Right, I've got a few more here for you. Thanks, Steve. Have a good night. Now, where am I going? Should I go back like to 2017? Who owns the running water? It's running. You can't own a river, apparently. Yeah. Not unless you're in a special part of Brisbane. This is a true story. It happened to me. Oh gosh, it happened to me around about 2015, but it took me until 2017 to write the poem. It's called Who Owns the Water, Running Water. It was written on the 25th of January 2017. The noise here in the city is so very loud. Can't hear the frogs or birds singing. Can't hear a thundercloud. I went looking for a branch from a eucalyptus tree. Eventually I saw one out of reach for me. I went running one afternoon down to the fake South Bank. I saw a dolphin in the water and then my heart sank. For floating in the river was plastic everywhere. I stripped down to my undies and I dived right in right there. I grabbed that plastic junk food pack, waved to the dolphin and swam right back. An insecurity guard stood there. A trooper, too, with short, cropped hair. There's sharks in there, they said to me. It's dangerous to swim freely. I asked the crowd what they saw. A dolphin was what they all roared. You saw me, I swim free. A good swimmer is what I be. I asked the cop, is there a law preventing me swimming from shore? He answered, no. But insecurity said, corporate bylaws prevent thee
The corporation makes the law 8 metres out from the shore. The Crown gave us all the powers, the water tide and the land is ours. If you don't like it, you can go. This place is fake, it's just a tourist show. In South Bank, homeless don't exist, but tourists can get pissed.
There's no eucalyptus tree now. Just a plastic beach to swim freely. The rocks and mud flats are covered now. The docks and old homes are all pulled down. Frogs don't like the chlorine water. Pythons can't live where they oughta. Crows and ibis live there now, eating garbage from the ground. The river cries, the birds sing loud, the freeway drowns the noises out. The distant thundercloud roars, summer lightning, thunder rain pours, wash away the concrete pain, grow eucalypt and frogs again. Yeah, true story that. I did. I saw a dolphin at South Bank. I went for a swim and then I got approached and pretty much the whole dialogue was pretty much that. Like, what are you going to do, really? Like, huh? It's actually, I was a bit more smart-ass than that, but yeah. Here we go. Now, in the link underneath, you'll see that the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame is running a donations campaign for, first of all, Film Freeway. We've got the Australian Poetry Film Contest, and it's the second year, and we're running a GoFundMe to raise funds for the prize money for the poets and to advertise and market the whole thing, because we really want to get it out there and make it bigger than Ben-Hur, the Australian Poetry Film Festival. And there's 3 categories this year: Best Bush Poetry Film, Best Australian Poetry Film, and Best Student Poetry Film. And you'll see in the link in the description, there are many ways you can donate to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, including PayPal, GoFundMe, which is just raising funds for the Film Freeway Australian Poetry Film Contest, and you can also send us cryptocurrency using the links below. Now, if you're sending it to us on the XRP ledger, make sure you use not the address and the Memo link as well, otherwise it won't get to us. But we do take all kinds of cryptocurrency, from XRP to Bitcoin to Ethereum to Flare, Polygon, you name it, we'll take it and we'll store it securely in our crypto wallet here and grow the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. All right, this is data, the new oil. We're going to sequence every living thing on Earth. We're going to sequence everybody in the world. Are you being robbed? Are you missing out? Are you being paid? Vapor trails in the ether. Location tracking, date stamp, tracked by an Apple, tracked by an Android. Ones and zeros, binary signs obscuring dollar signs. Facebook builds a history of pop-up advertising, cross-reference credit history, income statements and location, providing a seamless experience in the metaverse, data privacy and consent. There's a lot of money in your data. Fitbit, heart rate, the price of free. Your personal data is an asset to you, or Google, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, and whatever government or corporation decide to harvest your data, your oil, your energy. We're living in a time when big companies want to exploit the information we've given them for free. Market value per user. The privacy crisis. Accept cookies, software and big data. The Internet of Things. Terms and conditions. Accept. you don't have a choice. If you don't accept, then you don't actually get to play. Yeah, big data. And yeah, sure. And just like how, what do you call it? You know, your rewards points.
Yeah.
You know, shopping points.
Yeah.
It's like money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can use it to buy stuff. Well,
If
crypto
you
too.
give them your info.
Well,
Then
if I get points for giving them my info and then I get discounts, does that kind of make sense in a way? I'm selling my data, aren't I? Yeah, for cheaper groceries. Yeah, all right. I don't care because they've already got all my data anyway. Like I looked up a spa and a sauna and an ice bath the other day, and now they're just my feed is full of saunas and ice baths. Yeah. Anyway, that's what happens. All right, have I got one more poem for you? Maybe about a panda. All right. Maybe I do. You don't have to be a panda or a poet to talk about love, express it and show it. You can give a bit of care with or without any hair. You can jump on a chair and wave your hands in the air. You don't have to be a panda or a poet unless your name is Mick. Panda Mick is a poet and his verses are fully sick. Do you get that line?
Yeah.
Pandemic.
Oh,
Panda Mick is a poet and his verses are fully sick. Okay. He writes about butterflies, birds and bees and how he loves bamboo shoots and forest trees. You don't have to be a panda to go to open mic. My mate Rob comes on his mountain bike and Gladys has a hike and walks to our open mic night. Shares the stories of the past much to our delight. You don't have to be a panda, but I think I found a theme. Steve, Paul, Doug and Saul are some of the poetry team. Ashley may be there in the panda's favourite chair. You don't have to be a poet to come and just sit there. You don't have to be a panda unless you are a panda. Most of the mainstream media parrots propaganda. Come appreciate the poetry if you like it, show it. An open mic, all are welcome. Pandas also poets. You don't have to be a panda to get up off your ass. This poem was going well, but now it's got no class. Poets write of love and also sometimes turds. Everyone is welcome to come to Wednesday Words. Hey, it's a good finish, eh? Yeah, come on. Now, I'm rebranding Wednesday Words as not only just an open mic poetry night, it's spoken word, it's comedy, and it's also music. So if you want to come along here and get your chance to sing and or play your music on the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame and get an audience live on Facebook and live, whoever is here tonight on a Wednesday night, you are welcome. Now, there will be no market this week for Saturday for the Gwydir market because I am off in Armidale at the Heritage thingo, and then we're off to Hillgrove later on. So, anyway, thanks for joining us tonight. It's been a lovely night. James, where's he? Thundercloud, Skye, and Steve. See you later. Oh, don't forget to like it and thumbs up it and subscribe as well. Yeah. Send money. Please. Good night.